This video I'm going to show the current progress of the MAEGIC Layer 2 cryptocurrency project, which includes a basic income system solution for a mostly automated workforce. So after logging into the system I set up that runs on a local computer, I will go up and click on apps and then down to click on crypto. And from here I will click on the power demo, which is the name of the cryptocurrency that is used to purchase items and services within the MAEGIC ecosystem. But since this is a demo, I need to first create some fake accounts that are created from local property data, so I will click on the provided link and button to do that. Next, MAEGIC will go through and hash the top 100 property addresses to create accounts for the demos to use. Then I will click on the link to begin and select the expires option before clicking the button to create a bunch of fake transactions for the fake accounts to demonstrate how MAEGIC crypto technologies currently work. The expires setting allows all welfare shares distributed to locations that have not been verified to get sent back into the grace pool to be redistributed evenly to all locations for the next distribution. The phase max setting is set really low for the demo, but the idea behind that feature is to prevent people with more money than they know what to do with from coming in and taking over the project. There are 8 phases in a year, or what MAEGIC refers to as an orbit, and each single home location can only earn the maximum amount of power for what the phase max is set at during the phase. So if power is worth around $1 and the phase max is set to say 10,000, each location can only earn or deposit that amount during the phase before welfare is distributed at the start of the next phase. The main goal of MAEGIC since its formation as a nonprofit back in 2012 has been to develop a contribution-based welfare and economic monitoring system so that money doesn't become worthless if most people lose access to it. MAEGIC believes that nobody has all the answers to the problems that will arise during a shift to an automated workforce, so the plan after developing a stable cryptocurrency is to focus on an open-source governance solution. One of the unique ideas that MAEGIC has for their decentralized solution is to localize crypto technologies so that each community can code up and vote on their own governance to see what works and what doesn't. This Layer 2 cryptocurrency technology works that way as well. The founder of MAEGIC started mining Bitcoin when it first came out, but he stopped after learning how it worked because he didn't like the idea of a single ledger. He fell in love with the idea of decentralization though, so he started to obsess about solutions to allow a decentralized network to compete with centralized networks. The main attraction behind decentralized networks is that no single entity can make all the rules, and this concept truly puts the power in the hands of the people when it's done correctly. MAEGIC's approach at doing it correctly starts with localization, and they're calling what is known as a state in the United States a division, and they have renamed U.S. counties as sectors. All this data is being managed through Spots features, which is currently built into the framework and available up next to the apps option. So after clicking on Spots, the first thing I will see is a list of every country available, and this is where users with a verified location can start contributing data to vote on and earn power. This computer only has the core Spots data for the United States, so since I'm looking to create data for Afghanistan, I will go over and click the link to create an empty database for that country. And I can do this for every country that I don't have data for, so I can help build the databases to get every country online to start distributing power to them. You will also be able to use power to buy data from other users, but those features are not being developed until after the cryptocurrency is stable, so for now data is just being shared within the MAEGIC communities. So since I only have data for the United States, I'm going to close Spots Management until I see all the countries again. Then I will go up and type a U so it will filter the countries to where I can see the United States to go down and click on it. Now from here I can manage the data I'm hosting for the United States by clicking on the specific data that I want to manage and use the available features to add, edit, and delete specifics. Changing this data so it's different from the agreed consensus will significantly lower the chances at earning power by hosting it, but voting features are being developed so users can all agree on the core data. Users will only need to host their localized data to be able to start contributing to the network, but anyone can start an entity to host all of the data for the entire planet to become a trustee. However, doing this would currently require a significant investment to build and run the network to do that, so this is where the idea for the name of this project came from. MAEGIC is an acronym for some of the largest tech giants in the world, and a goal of the nonprofit is to one day convince them all to work together at solving the problems we face. Non-trusted users must define their trustees, so they are using the networks of entities they choose to trust, but these entities must also come to a consensus amongst each other. So these trusted networks could be considered centralized, but the idea is that if all entities conspire to go against the will of the people could easily form other entities to put all their trust in and fork off malicious intent. There is a plan to drop the requirements for trustees to only coming to a consensus on hash chain data, but that only works for each sector after they have enough hosts to fully decentralize their local data. This isn't a video about the technology cooperative though, it's about the current state of the Layer 2 cryptocurrency features and the ideas the developers are having while they write the code. So I'm going to try to explain the welfare distribution features better, and the ideas for that only work with local properties data, so I'll click on that option for the US. then on the Indiana division in the Allen sector. The demo only works because I am hosting this data of properties in the 3 counties I have set, which the crypto addresses are just hashes of the property addresses, and that is how welfare is currently distributed. Another reason there is a phase max setting is because MAEGIC has ideas for features that will incentivize housing the homeless to hopefully shift investors to doing that instead of driving up property values by flipping. Each sector has a certain housing capacity, so all the economics are based around that concept, and MAEGIC is developing monitoring technology for officials to better understand the communities they govern. The protocol being developed is called PoLICE protocol, which means proof of location, identity, contact, and entity, so the first step in becoming a user is to have private keys mailed to a location to prove it exists. The next steps after you have received the private keys in the mail from your trusted entities would be to verify your identity, contact information, and any entities you may have registered, which is all optional until required. MAEGIC is aware this is a controversial topic because there is very little privacy with PoLICE protocol, but they are betting people will get tired of all the scammers and malicious activity which anonymity makes possible. PoLICE protocol is being developed to give people more control over governance of their communities, so privacy is less of a concern because the developers understand that there are valid reasons to want privacy from government. Most of those reasons seem to be related to government overreach, so that is why MAEGIC is trying to focus more on developing technologies that communities can customize themselves and then share with the world. One main idea is to offer a core framework for financial support and consensus data, and then open source everything else so anyone can write code and market it to others to vote for that code to be included in governance. So now that the demo is done creating the fake accounts and transactions, I'm going to explain how the Power and Grace chains currently work. I'll start with the top blue header that contains the Layer 1 crypto identifier along with the Power symbol to indicate which cryptocurrency is being used with the MAEGIC Layer 2 technologies. This account has a balance of close to 5.8 Power and is currently at around 90% of the way to hitting the phase maximum the account can earn before it starts automatically converting the Power to Grace. Below the blue header is how PoLICE protocol captures time, which is shown in phase 2 and cycle 4 of the 2026 orbit, and that is how the Power and Grace IDs are minted for transactions. If you look at the top 2 transactions, you can see that they begin with the orbit of 2026 and then phase 2 and cycle 4, which I will explain in more detail what the other numbers represent later. So I'm going to go down and click on the next button to load more transactions, and I want to point out this transaction for the Grace Pool Share, which is the welfare payments that are issued every cycle. The Power ID begins with the orbit, phase, and cycle, followed by several zeros, and ending with the order of the location for the sector, which is how these Grace Pool Share transactions are currently formatted. And when I click on the Power ID, it will take me to the transaction details page that currently shows the sender network and addresses all 8s, which may change later on. So I'll go back to all my transactions and then down to click on next until I see notes for Grace credits, which means that I hit the maximum amount of power my account could earn during the phase. It starts showing Grace credits at the end of phase 1, which means that any power credits that was sent to my account, with the exception of welfare credits, was instantly converted to Grace for my location account. Another way to think of this is that there are no taxes for anyone earning less than the amount the phase max is set to, but then there's 100% tax on any earnings after hitting the max, which is how power gets redistributed. And again, all the power converted to Grace is then split up by how the budget is voted on, and the percentage set for welfare then gets divided equally between all the verified residential property addresses. The welfare shares only get sent to location addresses, which again is just a hash of the residential property address the user had their trustee key sent to as proof the location exists. PoLICE protocol also allows you to create addresses for identities, contact information, and entities, but those addresses must be associated with a verified location in order to be used. You can mint power, which is how you send it to other addresses, and also convert power into Grace, which users will be able to see who supports the people and infrastructure the most by looking at Grace balances. Converting power to cash will also be an option for when users want to withdraw cash at an ATM or a local bank or credit union, but this option has not yet been started on, so it will be a while before it's available. Next, I'm going to convert 5% of my power balance to Grace to show how that works, so after converting it, I'll go down and click the last button until I get to my most recent transactions. And now it shows a transaction for the Grace conversion up top, but before I go over to my Grace transactions, I want to quickly explain more how time works for PoLICE protocol. To put it simply, the seconds in every orbit or year are broken down by dividing everything by 8 all the way until it gets down to the mint duration, which lasts around 120 seconds. There are 8 phases and 8 cycles, which again, all of these are associated with the crypto ID system, so going further down the time divisions, there are also 8 spans, 8 tours, 8 forges, and 8 mints before the nicks, which are seconds. So hopefully that explains a bit how the transaction ID system works for PoLICE protocol. Now, before showing the Grace transactions, I'm going to show the Crypto Explorer, which still needs a lot of work, so it currently has quite a few bugs when using it. But once a user generates a snapshot of all the data for the local networks they are hosting, it will show the current balances for power and grace for each sector within a country. The goal is to code it up to show all transactions within each sector, but MAEGIC is not currently there yet, but it should be fairly simple to do by using the same code for accounts. And the last thing I'm going to show is the Grace transactions, and I currently get there by using the small drop-down menu next to the Find icon. This uses most of the same code as the Power demo does, but it shows the Grace transactions my account converted and also created after hitting the maximum power I could earn during the previous orbit phases. Users can't do anything with their Grace balances yet, but there are ideas like letting users use it to advertise on the network and also to give more voting power, but maybe the best idea is to just localize these options. There is still a lot of development left to get this working properly, so any donations or other support, such as watching the other videos on this channel, will help to speed that up. MAEGIC plans to offer beta access in order of whoever donates the most to help cover the development and network costs, but there is currently no system in place for that yet, so it's just a local file the developers maintain. If you are interested in staying up to date with this project, you can chat with the developers and other users using the Discord link in the description of this video. Hopefully this video has helped, and feel free to ask any questions that you still may have in the comments. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe for more quick and on-point videos.